The photo appeared on my Instagram feed at exactly 3:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. My mother, father, sister, and even my cousins stood smiling on a pristine Hawaiian beach, their faces glowing with carefree joy. The caption read, "Family vacation. Missing no one. Red heart #blessed." I stared at my phone screen, my coffee growing cold beside my laptop where I'd just finished authorizing another $4,000 monthly transfer to my parents' account. 5 years of these transfers. 60 months of supporting them after my father's business went under. Over $240,000 of my hard-earned money, sent without hesitation because family takes care of family. And there they were, on a vacation I knew nothing about with the entire family except me. Let me back up. My name is Emma Sullivan, and 5 years ago I got a desperate call from my mother. My father's construction company had collapsed, taking their savings with it. They were about to lose everything, the house I grew up in, their car, their dignity. "Please, Emma," my mother had sobbed into the phone. "We don't know who else to turn to. Your sister Megan is just starting her career, she can't help. You're doing so well with your software company." I had just sold my first major security software package to a tech giant, earning my company its first $1 million contract. Of course I would help. They were my parents. The agreement was simple. I would send them $4,000 every month to cover their mortgage, car payments, and basic expenses until they got back on their feet. They would look for work, cut unnecessary spending, and gradually become self-sufficient again. That was the plan anyway. At first they were grateful. My mother would call with tearful thank yous. My father would send awkward texts about job interviews. But as months turned into years, something shifted. The gratitude faded. The job search updates became rarer. Instead of treating my support as temporary help, they began acting like it was their due. "Emma dear, could you send next month's payment a bit early?" my mother would ask casually, as if requesting a cup of sugar. "Your father and I want to upgrade our cable package." Meanwhile, my sister Megan's life was flourishing. She landed a mid-level marketing job, moved into a nice apartment, and became my parents' pride and joy. At family gatherings, they would gush about her latest achievements while barely acknowledging my presence. "Megan just got a $2,000 raise," my mother would announce proudly, conveniently forgetting that I had sent them twice that amount the day before. "Isn't it wonderful how Megan networks?" my father would beam. Always attending business lunches, making connections. Business lunches I was paying for, though they didn't know that. 6 months ago, Megan had called me in tears about her credit card debt. I'd quietly started sending her $1,000 a month too, swearing her to secrecy. "Don't tell Mom and Dad," she had pleaded. "They think I'm doing so well on my own." I didn't mind really. My company had grown significantly, expanding into cybersecurity consulting for major corporations. Money wasn't an issue. But respect, recognition, basic appreciation, those were apparently too much to ask for. Last Christmas, my mother proudly displayed the expensive purse Megan had given her. "Look what your sister managed to save up for." The purse had cost exactly $1,000, the same amount I had sent Megan that month. I kept quiet as always. I paid their bills, attended their dinners, listened to their endless praise of Megan, and told myself it was enough that I could help. I didn't need their validation. Then came the Hawaii photos. More images flooded my social media. My parents and Megan lounging by a resort pool. My cousins Kate and Michael, whom I hadn't seen in months, joining them for sunset dinners. Even my Aunt Susan and Uncle Pete were there, everyone smiling, everyone included. Everyone except me. I scrolled through the photos, each one a fresh punch to the gut. They had planned this, coordinated with the entire family, bought tickets, booked hotels, all while cashing my monthly checks. My phone buzzed. A text from my mother. "Emma dear, is there any chance you could send next month's payment early? We had some unexpected expenses." I looked at my laptop screen where my banking app showed the latest transfer to them. Payment sent. $4,000 status. Pending. Then I looked back at the vacation photos. In one, my father was holding up a cocktail that probably cost more than the groceries I thought I was helping them buy. In another, Megan was showing off a new designer swimsuit, likely purchased with my secret payments to her. I clicked back to my banking app, my finger hovering over the cancel transfer button. 5 years of support. 5 years of being treated like an ATM while they pretended my sister was the successful one. 5 years of being excluded, undervalued, and taken for granted. My phone buzzed again. This time it was Megan. Hey sis, any chance you could increase the monthly help a bit? I saw these amazing apartments. That's when something inside me snapped. I reached for my office phone and dialed a number I never thought I'd use. Mr. Harrison? This is Emma Sullivan. Remember that conversation we had about acquiring struggling construction companies? I think I have one you might be interested in. Mr. Harrison's response was immediate and enthusiastic. My father's failed construction company still existed on paper, held together by my monthly payments. Its contracts, equipment, and most importantly, its valuable downtown land assets were all still there, just dormant. I spent the next hour outlining my plan while looking at more Hawaii photos popping up on Instagram. Megan poolside at the Four Seasons. My parents at a luau. Family dinner at a restaurant where entrees started at $200. My mother called just as I finished my conversation with Mr. Harrison. Emma dear, her voice dripped with practiced sweetness. About that early payment. Of course, Mom, I replied, matching her tone. Just curious, how's Hawaii? Pause. A sharp intake of breath. Then, oh, you saw the photos? It was just a last-minute thing. Megan found some amazing deals. Really? Last-minute bookings at the Four Seasons? During peak season. Another pause. Well, you're always so busy with work. We didn't want to bother you. Right? I said, watching my banking app as Mr. Harrison's first wire transfer hit my account. Because I'm so busy sending you $4,000 every month. Emma, she started, her voice taking on that familiar disappointed tone. Don't be like that. You know we appreciate Dash. I have to go, Mom. Enjoy your vacation. Oh, and don't worry about next month's payment. You won't need it. I hung up before she could respond and made 3 more calls. One to my lawyer, one to my accountant, and one to the private investigator I'd hired last year when I first suspected my family's exploitation went deeper than I knew. The PI's report arrived in my email within the hour, confirming everything. My parents hadn't been looking for work at all. My father had turned down 3 job offers in the past year alone. My mother had started a secret savings account with my emergency payments. And Megan? She'd been lying about her salary. She was making triple what she claimed, but kept asking for money while presenting herself as the family success story. The Hawaii trip had cost $46,000. They'd planned it 6 months ago. My phone kept buzzing with text. Megan, Mom said you're being difficult about the money. Don't be selfish, sis. Dad, your mother's upset. You know how she gets. Let's not make this a big deal. Cousins Kate and Michael, why are you trying to ruin everyone's vacation? So bitter. I turned off my phone and focused on my laptop, where I was logging into the business accounts I'd secretly maintained for my father's company. 5 years of monthly payments hadn't just kept them afloat, they'd preserved the company's assets, contracts, and most importantly, its prime real estate holdings. Holdings that Mr. Harrison's development firm had been trying to acquire for years. At 9 a.m. Hawaii time, 2 p.m. at my office, I pressed send on 4 emails. The first was to my parents, containing bank statements showing every payment I'd made over 5 years, totaling $240,000. Plus $12,000 to Megan that they didn't know about. The second was to Mr. Harrison, finalizing the sale of my father's company, which I technically owned through years of being the sole financier, to his development firm for $5.2 million. The third was to my lawyer, instructing him to proceed with liens on all my family's assets due to defaulted private loans. Yes, those monthly gifts had actually been properly documented loans, thanks to my lawyer's foresight. The fourth was to the family group chat including everyone at that Hawaiian paradise. Check your emails. Vacation's over. I waited, watching the read receipts appear one by one. Then my office phone rang. Emma. My father's voice was frantic. What is this? You sold my company. No, I corrected calmly. I sold my company. Check the paperwork, Dad. Every payment I made gave me equity. Basic business. Isn't that what you always taught me? You can't dash. Already did. Oh, and since I'm calling in all the loans, you should know your accounts have been frozen. Enjoy explaining to the Four Seasons how you'll pay for the rest of your stay. I could hear my mother wailing in the background. Megan was screaming something about her apartment deposit. Emma, My father's voice turned pleading. We're family. Family. I laughed. Family doesn't exclude family from vacations. Family doesn't lie about jobs and salaries. Family doesn't treat one child like an ATM while praising another for achievements bought with the first one's money. We can explain. No need. Here's what's going to happen. You're all coming home immediately. You'll pay back every loan with interest from your secret savings and Megan's real salary. If you don't, I'll see you in court. You would sue your own family? My own family didn't invite me on vacation while spending my money. Have a safe flight home. I hung up and turned my phone back on. The notifications were overwhelming. Megan, they're kicking us out of the hotel. How could you? Mom, we're stranded. Your father's having chest pains. Dad, the company was all I had left. Cousins, aunts, uncles. Everyone who'd enjoyed that luxury vacation on my dime was suddenly very interested in reaching me. I opened my banking app one last time and looked at the pending $4,000 transfer. With one click I canceled it. 5 years of monthly payments ended in an instant. Then I opened my travel app and booked a ticket to Hawaii. A different island, a different resort. A vacation where I wouldn't have to pretend to be less successful than I was. Where I wouldn't have to watch my sister take credit for my financial support. Where I could finally stop being the family ATM and start being myself. My assistant knocked on my door. Miss Sullivan? Your family's been calling the office non-stop. Take messages, I said, closing my laptop. I'm going on vacation. Should I tell them where? I smiled, thinking of all those Instagram photos. No need. They can check my social media. That evening, as I packed for my trip, my mother sent one last text. How could you do this to your family? I replied with a photo, a screenshot of their Hawaii group picture with the caption, missing no one. Below it I wrote, how could you do this to your daughter? Then I blocked them all and headed to the airport. Sometimes the biggest gift you can give yourself is the courage to stop giving to those who don't appreciate you. Sometimes the hardest business decision is realizing that family can be your worst investment. And sometimes, the best revenge isn't just canceling payments. It's canceling the entire relationship that made those payments necessary. As my plane took off, I opened my laptop to find an email from Mr. Harrison. The development plans for my father's former company would create hundreds of jobs and revitalize a struggling neighborhood. In the end, my family's betrayal would help an entire community. I ordered a champagne and looked out the window, smiling. Let them scramble to pay their hotel bill. Let them feel what it's like to not be able to rely on me. Let them finally understand that success isn't about taking advantage of family. It's about being honest, grateful, and inclusive. My phone buzzed one last time before I put it on airplane mode. A notification from my bank. Recurring payment canceled successfully. 5 years of being the family ATM, ended by one family vacation I wasn't invited to. Sometimes the best trips are the ones that take you away from toxic relationships, even if those relationships are with your own family. I sat back, watching the clouds drift by, finally free from the weight of unappreciated sacrifice. Somewhere over the Pacific, my family was frantically booking economy flights home. But me? I was flying first class to a future where I no longer had to diminish my success to make others comfortable. After all, if they could afford a luxury vacation with my money, I could certainly afford one with theirs.